When you talk about grinding within FIFA 23 Ultimate Team, friendlies is the last game mode that anyone thinks of. This is mainly because the rewards you get from them are actually nothing. There are no rewards. You get coins directly from the game mode and nothing else. There is no progression, there is no ladder system. But there is actually a way to make this one of the best game modes within FIFA 23 Ultimate Team to build up coins as well as build up packs. And today I'm going to share exactly how. So, on a basic level, FUT Friendlies is a game mode where you quite simply play against other players. You play online. With some of these friendlies, they are there forever and they may have certain requirements. These requirements will be based on your team. And typically the content that's available here is only for you to have fun. It's for those that don't take FIFA as seriously. If you're sick of going into division rivals or FUT champions and coming up to godly insane teams where everyone has some of the highest rated players within the game, we're talking about the highest possible rated icons, team of the year players, absolutely ridiculous, then you can head over to friendlies and select a game mode which is team specific for you to not have any team of the years or high rated icons. It could be silver players. And if you just want to have fun without the worry of being competitive, then this is a great place to go. But with it does mean that from friendlies themselves, you're not going to be able to be rewarded heavily in coins or packs. The coins that you'll get will be standard, and that's if you complete a full game. And this will reward you anywhere between 500 to 900 coins. But there's a hidden rule within friendlies where if you go 1-0 down, you should probably just quit. Doesn't happen every game, but it'll happen more often than not within friendlies compared to any of the other online game modes. And this will result in you having less coins at the end of the game because it wasn't a full game. Likewise, there's occasions where EA will release challenges which are part of a golden goal game mode. And depending when you either score or concede will depend on how many coins you get at the end. Now with all of that said, so far, it doesn't sound like anything what I promised right at the beginning, where I said that this could potentially be the best rewarding game mode within the whole of Ultimate Team. So let's actually look into that. Friendlies itself isn't rewarding, but if you link it to all the objectives which are available, you can earn more packs by playing just one game than if you went into any of the other game modes available. This includes division rivals and FUT champions. Most people spend their week grinding through division rivals, trying to get the highest possible division, but it really doesn't matter because after you get 8 wins, that's your reward. Now you can climb to a higher division which will give you a slightly better reward, but for the time that it takes for you to do that, it's not that much better. But when you head over to your objectives, there will always be challenges for friendlies. And when EA releases new content which is connected to the latest promo, they will push out a new friendly game mode which requires you to get as many wins as possible. Maybe it's just play games, maybe it's score with certain nationalities, certain leagues, certain teams. It may not even be about scoring, it may be about passing or getting an assist. It could be a number of different challenges, but most of the time they are connected to friendlies. And sometimes, depending on that promo, will also depend on if they add a new friendly game mode which is specific for these challenges. A lot of the time they use something called homegrown talents, and this is where you'll need to use players which are first owned, so you've been able to pack them or you've got them from reward SBCs, rather than you actually buying them. You'll then need to use that team in homegrown talents to complete those challenges. And as I said, they can be absolutely insane. Sometimes it's completing a very simple task and it will reward you with pack rewards, with these packs also being layered. What I mean by this is that your starter objective may be play a game within homegrown talents. Once you complete it, you're rewarded with a very small 81+ player pack. It's pretty decent, but it's unlikely to give you anything amazing. But if you carry on playing, after you get 3 wins, you may get an 84+ player pack. And once you manage to get 7 wins, you'll be able to get 85+ player packs, with this also giving swap tokens. This is just a basic example, but this can really layer up. And as said, sometimes it's not even about getting wins. In some cases, it's just about playing games. So regardless of whether or not you win, draw or lose, as long as you finish that full 90-minute match and don't forfeit, you will be rewarded. Now, we did just briefly mention it there, but another layer to this is swaps. It seems every single year EA releases more and more promos which connect to different types of swaps. This is the easiest way in which you can progress through Ultimate Team. Quite simply, with swaps, regardless of what promo is connected to, you will need to complete challenges. And challenges aren't just specific to your objectives, they can also be SBCs. But most of the time, you will be able to find them within your objectives. And most of the time, when they are part of your objectives, they require you to go through friendlies. At the end of these games, instead of you being gifted a pack, you'll be gifted a swap token. But there are some cases where it'll gift you a pack and also a swap token, and those are real nice. But these swap tokens are nothing special. They're normally 60 rated players, and you probably don't want to be using them within your team. But what they can be used for are SBCs. The more tokens that you collect, the more reward options you have. Once you get to that higher end, you'll be able to have the option to have some of the best pack rewards as well as the best player options. This can add millions of coins to your account. Yes, they're untradeable, and yes, if you're going for the packs, you do need to get lucky to get something good, which is going to give you something of value. But bear in mind that these packs, especially at that later end, is giving you 85 plus player packs where you have 10 players within that pack. That's a very good chance of getting something good. If you don't want to test your luck, you could just go for the players, which is normally what I do, unless we're coming up to a special occasion. So for example, during the World Cup swaps, I went for the World Cup Vieira. Really wanted to use him, one of the highest player rewards available. I think required 40 World Cup tokens, but it was definitely worth it in my opinion. We're talking about this being a player worth millions. Not actually worth millions because, well, it only costs 40 unlocked tokens. But when we look at Vieira's normal card, even his cheapest one, which is his 86 rated, is valued at around 700k at the time of recording this video, and I got a 90 rated World Cup version. His 88 rated card is worth 1.1 million and his 91 rated card is valued at around 2 million. So I think it's safe to say that by himself it added a million coins to my club. During the Winter Wildcards promo, instead of being able to push for the players because I wasn't a massive fan of those, I ended up pushing for packs which were then saved for Team of the Year. Unfortunately, during Team of the Year I wasn't able to pack anything good, but it gave me a much higher chance than if I went for anything else. And all of these come from objectives which do span across multiple game modes, but most of the time they require you to go through friendlies, and this is what you need to do. With friendlies as well, you don't just need to connect them to objectives, but there's also a way in which you can have an advantage. Now this does depend on the game mode which is available. As said, if EA is going to push a friendly game mode such as Homegrown Talent, then it will require you to have first owner players. And there's no way around that. The only way that you can enter is by packing players, and if you get lucky to pack someone good, then that's certainly going to help you within this situation. But in other occasions, especially once they start releasing stuff which is based around gold and goal, then all you really need is a team. And the cool thing with friendlies is that it doesn't count contracts. This makes it a perfect place for you to build a lone team. Now, I think that you should be doing this anyway. You should have your main team where you want to be competitive within division rivals and FUT champions. You want to have a second team which is just to play for fun. And then I think you should also put together a team filled with lone players. Because even though they are lone players, typically if you're going to get a lone player, it's likely going to be a lot better than anything else that is available. And if you do use them in the correct game modes, such as friendlies, which is the topic for this video, and if you went into FUT moments, they do not count contracts. Now, even though you do not technically own them, they are untradeable, you can't sell them, and they do only have a limited amount of games. Because you're taking them into game modes where they do not count contracts, it does mean that it's technically you own them. You can play with them forever. I have quite a few Team of the Year players which I wasn't able to pack directly, but I was able to get as lone players, as well as there's a few other high rated icons that I have as lone players. And even though I don't own them, I put them together into a lone team which I then use within friendlies. And as long as the game mode is connected, it makes things a lot easier to complete objectives. Plus also I still get to play with some amazing players which are easily out of my price range. If you want to be extremely efficient with this, what you can do is use these lone players within other game modes to be more competitive, to give you an edge. This can be division rivals and FUT champions and take them all the way down to their very last game. And then that is when you'll place them within your lone team. You'll never use them within any of the other online game modes because it will count those contracts, but because you have one left and you are going in friendlies, it does mean that you can use them forever. I've spoken to a few players who still use their lone Mbappe that they managed to get from the very beginning of FIFA 23 Ultimate Team as part of their pre-order. They've been playing with Mbappe ever since within friendlies, and it's helped them massively. So to quickly recap, to get the very most out of friendlies and grind this as efficiently as possible. Friendlies itself as a game mode isn't going to reward you that much, but if you connect it to objectives, you can get a lot. Make sure that you are going through your objectives, seeing what's currently there, and you may need to play about with your team in order to complete multiple objectives at the exact same time. And you can get loads of packs as well as a decent amount of coins depending on the challenges which are available. When swaps are added to the game, make sure that you're going through them. It's likely that EA has added a new friendly game mode which requires you to go through that and complete these challenges. Once completed, you may be rewarded with a pack, but if not, you'll be rewarded with a swap token, and that swap token can be used to unlock some amazing rewards, especially once you build them up to those double-digit numbers or the highest that it can possibly go, because you'll have many options and they are always good at that higher end. To be extremely efficient, you should be using a lone team. You will not be able to use this within every single game mode because, as said, there is some which requires you to have first owner players, and even though you pack lone players, you can't actually use them within this specific friendly game mode. But there will be others which you can use them for, and if you save them for that, you will be able to breeze through it with ease because there's no possible way that every other player is doing the exact same thing. Most people don't bother with lone players, they just build their one and only team and use that within every single game mode. This is the most efficient way to grind friendlies, and if you go through this, you will be able to add millions to your club. It won't necessarily be millions of coins, but you will get a lot of different players which have a substantial value, and whether or not you're going to use them within your team, which saves you coins of actually having to buy those players, or if you're just going to use those players to throw into other SBCs, it really doesn't matter, because what's really helping you at the end of the day is that you're progressing, and you're progressing rapidly. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.